Right, we're here in Washington, D.C., the Museum of the Bible. I know it's in the shade there, but there you can see the word Bible. Got some Old Testament scriptures on either side of the entranceway. You're good. As well as scripture passage there from one of the Psalms. So we'll go inside and see what the things are like inside the Museum of the Bible with our host, Linda. One of the sections they have is the World of Jesus of Nazareth. Olive tree here. Making of wine. You can even go inside one of the huts. Here they're making bread there, baking some bread. Preserving water. They have their ritual purity, the baths. This would have been like a workshop where Joseph would have been. The tools. A little bit about the construction there. Of course, we mentioned the olive trees. There are the olives. And what you get from them is from the mill here, the press, the olive oil. And here we have a wonderful scene. We're overlooking the Sea of Galilee. To the south there is where the mouth of the River Jordan begins. At the north, Bethsaida, Capernaum, and Magdala are the key areas to look at. Beautiful scene here. And here we have a little synagogue where we'll come to sit, and the scroll is now missing. there was a scroll in there they would take out, lay upon the table there, and then someone would read from the scriptures. Not the most comfortable seats. And you get a view of some of the little oil lamps that they would use to carry around with them. Everybody hungry? Got some pomegranates, of course olives, figs. Maybe we'll have some dates, falafel. Pretty cool. Looks like we are in Jesus' hometown. In this section here, we have stored up a lot of scrolls and Bibles. In addition to ways that they would have been displayed or kept. Also, a lot of different Bibles that they have here. Even in Braille. Some of these are illustrated very nicely.
The American Bible Society was founded in 1816. One of its earliest projects was distributing Bibles to sailors, starting a tradition of providing Bibles to the unsuspecting that continues to this day. From the beginning, the mission of these societies was not just distribution of Bibles, it was also translation, making the Bible available to language groups that would not be able to. Although the Bible is the
There are so many different Bibles and how the Bible came about. Of course, we want to make sure that we have our own Catholic Bibles. Scrolls that they have. Get a close up of another one here. Those are the origins of our Bibles. Here's also a sample of any Bibles that is said it's good to get. Make sure that we get a Catholic Bible. This one happens to have one here. Revised Standard Version of the Second Catholic Edition, Ignatian Bible. Bibles are in so many different, been translated into so many different languages. We certainly would encourage you to take a trip to the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. They also had a special exhibit, Treasuries of the Vatican Museums in the library. scene from the Vatican Library. Show you a couple of the Bibles that they have in here. Beautiful one there. Again, the beautiful art. Gospels of Luke and John. And again, another. These Bibles are huge. Urbino Bible.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that brief little trip through the Museum of the Bible. There are many floors. What are there, 6 floors?
6, and 5 of them are full of exhibits. So it's a full day if you go. You can definitely make a full day of it.
And as it is with many museums, a lot of hands-on things, both for children and adults. A lot of different videos that you can watch, or other interactive things. And they have some other special exhibits and things that you can do as well. One of the things about it is, if you were looking in that book that we had mentioned, Monuments, Miracles, and whatever the third one was, that's not listed in there because the Museum of the Bible, it's not strictly a Catholic site. I mean, there are, as you saw, there are many different Bibles, many different translations. We certainly would encourage you to read the Bible, but make sure that you have a Catholic Bible, as we mentioned. In fact, this cover probably looks familiar. This was one of the ones that was shown, that they had shown on there. This happens to be an Ignatius Study Bible. So it's characterized by the 4 evangelists with Jesus in the middle on the cover.
Now, we first went to the Bible Museum almost 2 years ago. It was October 2019. And we went down for a day-long conference, I guess, talk by Jeff Cavins. And Jeff Cavins is a popular Catholic author and speaker, and he has developed this great adventure Bible. So we actually with our admission, when we went that day, we got one of these Bibles. And he developed this Bible timeline chart, which is a wonderful way to actually walk through the Bible and to get the big picture of the Bible. It was a full day with him, and because it was a full day, the people who were there, the participants, didn't have an opportunity to visit the museum. So they gave us, as part of our admission, a pass to come back another day. And so after that, COVID happened. So this was our first opportunity to go back. And we were really glad that we did. Like I said, it's a full day, but you could easily spend more than that, probably, right? There was, many things that we kind of went through rather quickly. So
the hours of operation are such that they close at 5.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you get there in the morning. So what we did is we just stayed overnight the night before, and that allowed us, and the following night, that allowed us the full day there.
Yeah. From when they open the doors to when they close the doors, basically. And as Deacon Don mentioned, they have many activities for children, so it's definitely a wonderful family,
you saw that in that, and where Jesus grew up, in that Nazareth scene that they made.
Yeah, and there weren't any when we were there, but they do have people that are dressed in the in the garb of the dead, and they would be in there and kind of interact with you. So I'm sure they have many things that they use that for, but we saw actually lots of other activities and special exhibits that were geared towards children. So what a wonderful way to expose them to the Bible.
I've mentioned a couple different times in homilies about Linda and I have been doing the Bible in a year with Father Mike Schmitz through Ascension Press, and what they're using is this Great Adventure Bible
timeline.
And so they're presenting it in such a way, because if you just were to pick up the Bible and read it from the beginning, it's not like a novel, it's not like something else where you can start from the beginning and read to the end. That's generally not the best way to do it. It's one way to do it, but it's probably not the best way. Many say you'll die in the deserts, get lost in the desert with the Israelites. But it does provide a lot of good explanations, as well as providing it in a little more systematic or sequential way in which we are accustomed to it. Another beautiful part of it is, because the Gospels are pretty much all in the same period, what they do is they save the Gospel of Luke for when it would come in that sequential period, but interspersed throughout the year. So you're not nine and a half months in the Old Testament before you hear anything about Jesus. They do intersperse the other Gospels. So for you have a week or 10 days or so going through the Gospel. We've already gone through the Gospel of John and the Gospel of Matthew. So it's another thing as well to break it up, as well as even trying to help tie things in. We cannot understand the New Testament without the light of the Old Testament. And knowing the New Testament shines light on the Old Testament as well. So they work hand in hand in helping to help in the revelation of God to us, most especially in the person of Jesus Christ.
And one of the things that I really appreciate about it is, someday, like when we're in Kings or certain ones, it's like almost drudgery listening, but then because there's a commentary with it each day, and then also as you keep going and you have kind of the history, you can step back and you get like the big picture. So things that kind of, it wouldn't maybe come to light when you're in all the details of it. But the way it's presented, and doing it, I think, every day really does help you to understand. And it's basically our salvation, our story of salvation. So that is a podcast on Ascension Press, which is, they have them all there. So you could start.
You could start at any time.
If you wanted to start tomorrow, you could go back and find the first one and go through. So, but it's another great way. And it was just interesting for us that that's how we were exposed to the Museum of the Bible, is through, Jeff Cavins in this Bible timeline. And then now to be able to kind of, go, because that was like a day. So that was like a
whirlwind.
It was a lot. I tried to take notes, but it was just, but it was good. It really, it really piqued our interest. So when this came up we were like, let's make time to do that. So, Yep. And like Linda said, the chart is very helpful as well, particularly when it comes to names and things, and you're like, who? Yeah. Where's this king? And it can help sort that kind of thing out for you as well. Yeah. Because even the books that are basically narrative related, sometimes they'll jump back and forth, and you'll be like, wait, didn't that already happen? Why are we talking about this again now?
And so it's good to have that explanation as well as to help keep your perspective of it.
Yeah, and Father Mike Schmitz also has a sense of humor, so he's very, it amazes me because has to be a huge commitment for him, because every day is, they probably average about 22 minutes maybe, some longer, some shorter. But for him to, read and then have, a commentary, and oftentimes like he'll reference what's coming ahead or what we've gone through in the past. So obviously there's a lot of knowledge there, but also time and preparation that he spent. So good way to dive into the Bible if you're interested.
And another good way to dive into the Bible
is through Bible studies. So it just so happens that I have facilitate women's Bible studies at St. Mary's, and we're going to be back in person again starting actually a week from tomorrow. So Thursday, September 23rd, I think it is. The study that we're going to do this time is called Missionary Discipleship, which is pretty interesting because Father's actually been talking about this in some of his homilies, this idea of being disciples on mission. I think it'll, it's nice when God's timing seems to be that, it coincides with what we're hearing in other places. So, anybody is welcome, any woman is welcome to join us. If you'd like, it'll be Thursdays. I have a morning session and an evening session. It's in the bulletin. It's also on the website. But if you are interested, I would ask you sooner rather than later, because I do have to order the book. So I want to make sure I have a book for everyone. But,
she
again,
needs people for the evening session.
Again, this is a wonderful way, doing a Bible study is a wonderful way to really understand. The Bible, as Father would tell you, is a living. It's not dead. It's a very much a living series of books, living documents. So that means that we should be applying it to our lives today. It's not just about history. It's about applying it to our lives. So I think Bible studies are a wonderful way to do that.
And we'll also be in the upcoming RCIA session. Our first session will actually be covering about the Bible, and we'll talk a little bit about the difference in some of the Bibles. Those take place in Annex Room number 1 on Tuesday evenings, beginning at 6:30. All Catholics are welcome. If you want to just sit in sometimes. We really couldn't allow people to do it last year due to some of the COVID restrictions, but we're hoping that things will be open for more to participate as well.
Yeah.
So we hope you have a good Wednesday, and we'll see you again next week.
God bless.